Good morning, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you all so much for being here. My name is Gabriella Seal, and I have the honor of speaking on behalf of the class of 2026. On behalf of our class, welcome, and thank you again for being here to celebrate this milestone with us. Before we begin, I want to first recognize the people who have helped carry us to this very moment. To our faculty and our staff, thank you so much for your guidance, your patience, and for holding us to a standard that challenged us to not only grow as students, but also as future nurses. Thank you for believing in us, even in moments where we struggled to believe in ourselves. And next to our families, friends, partners, children, and support systems, thank you for every sacrifice that made this journey possible. Thank you for the encouragement after difficult exams, the flexibility during long clinical days, the prayers, the phone calls, the reassurance, and the countless ways that you have supported us when the demands of this program felt overwhelming. Looking around this room today is a reminder that none of us arrived here alone. This achievement belongs not only to us, but also to the people who stood beside us through every step of our journey. If there's one thing that defines this class, it's that no two of us took the exact path to get here. Some of us dreamed of becoming nurses for years, while others found our way here through entirely different experiences and chapters of our lives. But regardless of the path, we all made the same choice: to step into something difficult, meaningful, and deeply demanding. And these past 2 years have asked a great deal of us. There were moments of exhaustion, moments of uncertainty, and moments where the weight of what we were learning felt very real. But through it all, we continued to show up for our patients, for our future, and for each other. Somewhere along the way, this stopped being just about passing exams or mastering skills. It became about learning how to stand beside people in some of the hardest moments of their lives. We learned how to listen, how to advocate, and how to care for people with compassion and dignity. We also found strength in one another. Through shared stress, encouragement before exams and clinical days, laughter and quiet understanding, we built something that goes far beyond being classmates. We truly did become a community. And today is not just about completing a program, it's about recognizing who we have become in the process, the kind of nurses that we are now preparing to be. So to my classmates, this moment is ours, and we have earned it. And to everyone here today, thank you so much for being a part of it. It is now my privilege to introduce our keynote speaker this year, Dr. David Rosie. Dr. Rosie is an emergency medicine physician at Sentara RMH Medical Center here in Harrisonburg, and he also serves as the director for EMS for both Page and Rockingham counties. Through his work, he has demonstrated not only clinical excellence, but also a deep respect for the roles that nurses play as an essential member of the healthcare team. As we prepare to enter this profession, it means a great deal to hear from a provider who values collaboration, recognizes the importance of nursing, and leads with both skill and humility. So please join me in welcoming Dr. David Rosie.
Hello and welcome. I'm glad to have the opportunity to welcome you to the medical field. As I'm not a nurse, I'm a little bit of an outsider, but I have the opportunity to work with and know many nurses. I've been working in medicine for 26 years. I became an EMT in 2000 and did the transport thing. I worked as a ER tech for about 5 years, then did medical school, and so I was still a teenager when I started working in the ER. So it's been more than half my life there. Working in healthcare can be one of the most challenging, but also very fulfilling jobs. You have chosen a very noble profession. Many of you will probably go on to do other things like nurse practitioner, nurse anesthetist, midwifery, but I would challenge some of you to just consider just sticking with regular nursing and finding a place where you can spend a lot of your career doing the same basic job with the same basic people, because if you do that, and I have many friends who I've talked to about this recently, who have, say, worked in the ER and they've been there for 20 and 30 and 40 years, they have the opportunity to become experts in that field. And if they don't bounce around and find other jobs, one, you have lifelong friendships, you get very, very good at your job, and you spend a lot of time taking care of patients, which is why you came here in the first place. So there's many different pathways that you can approach your career and many different ways that you'll do things, and some people will try lots of different fields, and that's one of the great things about nursing, that you can try so many different fields, but sticking with one thing is just something to consider, because there's a lot of rewards in that. For me, I've been in the emergency room for more than half my life now, and so it's kind of that sort of thing where you just stick with the same thing, you know the same people, and you can get really good at your job, and it's a very fulfilling place to be. So I spent the last 9 years at RMH, and working with many of your soon-to-be peers. Some of them came through this program and are fantastic nurses. I'm constantly impressed at how they've been able to rise to the occasion for lots of different things. The most recent big event that we had was the COVID pandemic, which lasted for a long time, and it was very difficult. Everybody was challenged to the max. We did a lot of things that we didn't expect we would have to do. I remember one time about 4 o'clock in the morning, it was a giant mess. We had people everywhere, and I remember thinking I wouldn't want to be doing anything else. It was really great to be a part of that mess and to have a small piece in it. And I think a lot of the people, a lot of the nurses who were there through it felt the same way. Not that it wasn't hard, not that it wasn't sad. It took a lot from a lot of people, but at the same time, it was very rewarding. There's lots of other challenges that are on the rise. Just in 2022, which is a more recent statistic that I have, there was 107,941 deaths from overdoses, and most of those were from opiates. There's a rising mental health crisis, lots and lots of drug shortages, hospital overcrowding. Just recently, we had found out that apparently there's a shortage of EKG paper. So some of these shortages are funny and not that big a deal, and other ones can be a really big challenge, but you're going to have your hands full. But that's one of the things where you can shine, is it needs the ingenuity and the open-mindedness and the ability to make things work that can help get through a lot of these shortages, because they're just a reality. I can think back, and I just put 4 names here. I've worked with lots and lots of nurses, but Cindy Griffin, Becky Morris, Danny Jones, and Ann Mack. There were 4 people who I worked with in the early 2000s who did a lot to sort of form my career. And I can think back a lot of the things that I know now when examining patients, doing different things, and I can remember when I learned those things, and it was from nurses, and it was a lot from those people, and I can think of a lot of other ones. Cindy Griffith and Becky Morris, they were both charge nurses when I started to work in the emergency room. Danny Jones was just there for a long time. She worked in nursing for 43 years when she finally retired, and she was fantastic. She was one of those people who was just very committed, and she could teach so much. And there wasn't much that got past her because she had been in that field for so long. And Ann Mack, she was a professor in my paramedic program, and she did many things, mostly in ERs and flight nursing. But those people had such a big impact on my career and lots of other people's careers, where you could have the same impact through your careers. And so looking at people who have helped you along the way, who have been impactful in different ways, you can be those people throughout your career. But it does take a long time to kind of get there. Nurses have often been called the bulwark of medicine, and bulwark is a railing that they used to put on ships, and it would keep sailors protected from cannonballs and things like that coming in, and also keep them protected from falling off the ship into the sea, which I think a pretty good metaphor for nursing, as it relates to how they protect patients. Um, Oftentimes, you'll find yourself in the hardest moments of other people's lives, and you have to be there to help them through it. Some of your best work will happen when you least expect it, and sometimes you may not have even realized how much you did or accomplished, maybe ever, or maybe not until years later. Sometimes you'll feel like you're just a cog in a wheel, and in some ways you are. All of us are. I am, and you will be. But there's a lot that goes into patient's care, and it's a long pathway, and we just see a little piece of it. But it makes a huge difference, and we just have to sort of back up and think about all those long nights, those difficult times, those difficult patients, where we're making a big difference for people. So some of your most impactful work will come at times you don't realize it, doing tasks that don't seem like they have a lot of meaning, when things are completely unnoticed, saying things to the sick and patients' families. Well, I messed up part of my notes here, but anyway, and then sometimes it's just a warm smile that can change things greatly for patients. And just being there to hear someone out, and just sometimes they just need somebody to listen to them, and you can be there for that. I have a couple things of advice. One of the things that nurses, and this goes back to the part of you being a bulwark for patients, is you should question orders from doctors and PAs and things like that. A lot of times they won't make sense. And the reason why they won't make sense is it's not a good order, or it was just an error. And this happens all the time, especially with computer order entry. Back when we hand wrote orders, this didn't happen as much. So long as our handwriting was okay, usually it was all right. But now it is so easy to just click on something, and something happens that it switches screens or whatever, or it gets clicked, like a double click. And so the nurses will come, and they'll be like, Dr. Rosie, did you really want to give this person 2 doses of this D50, for example? And no, I didn't want to do that. But if they had just blindly followed that order, then they would have caused, well, I would have caused the problem, but they would have carried it out. And that's one of the things where, and that's just a simple example, but it happens all the time, where you're at a point in your profession where you should just critically think about what it is that is prescribed for these people, the orders that are given, and think about, does this really make sense? Is this really the best thing? And then go back to whoever it is and say, are you sure this is what you want to do? And sometimes it might just be that you didn't understand the treatment plan or something new or different, but a whole lot of the time it's just going to be that the doctor made a mistake. And that's a big part of what you're there for. When you're doing a lot of tasks, there'll be a lot of check boxes, there's a lot of questions that you have to ask people, and a lot of things that you have to get through, and it seems really nominal and mind-numbing, and it takes a whole lot of time, and a whole lot of just clicking through things and asking people questions that don't make a lot of sense. But if you spend just a couple extra minutes, one thing I've found is trying to figure out who the patient was before they got sick or before they became elderly, asking them what they did for their career, things like that, can make a really big difference to them, and also can give you a way to connect with them, and then sometimes figure out the puzzle of what it is that's causing their problem, whether it was an injury or illness or whatever it was. And then also thinking outside the box, looking for unconventional solutions. We live in a time where there's lots and lots of shortages of lots and lots of things. There's lots of budget issues, and so you have to work with less than what's optimal, or with something different that's optimal. You'll have some week where you'll come in and there's no Ativan in the hospital whatsoever, and so you have to come up with a whole new plan of how you're going to deal with, say, alcohol withdrawal. And that's part of the fun of medicine, part of the challenge, but that's what you're there for. Being holistic, thinking about families and their loved ones and what you can do to sort of make them feel comfortable so they can stay longer. Many times people will leave the hospital because they're concerned about their loved ones that are staying with them when they really need something done, and sometimes just recognizing that getting an extra blanket, a recliner, something to eat, a charger, whatever it is. And that's a place where you can just see what's going on, see what might cause somebody to leave against medical advice, and prevent that from happening so they continue to get the treatment that they need. One of the things that will happen over time is you'll develop more of a gut feeling for things. And it's something that you should nurture and listen to. There's a lot of things that are really easy to blow off, but if you have a sense that something is just not right, then you should listen to that. Sometimes it will be that the treatment isn't right. Sometimes it will be someone who's being trafficked or child abuse. Those things don't announce themselves. The list can go on, but pay attention to and develop your gut feeling and just get a sense for what could be being missed. Last, reading good books, I think, is a great thing to get into. I think one author that is a good starting place is Atul Gawande. He wrote Being Mortal. But spending part of your career just developing yourself by reading good books about medicine and about whatever it is field that you get into, it's just a good, it's a good way to develop yourself. And then I'm just going to leave you with a couple of quotes. The first one is from Florence Nightingale, and she said this a long time ago, so the English is a little bit different sounding, but she doesn't mince words. Live your life while you have it. Life is a splendid gift. There's nothing small in it, for the greatest things grow by God's law out of the smallest. But to live your life, you must discipline it. You must not fritter it away in fair purpose, erring act, and constant will, but make your thoughts, your acts, all work to the same end, to that end, but not self, but God. That is what we call character. And then I have one by Atul Gawande, who wrote Being Mortal, and this is a clip out of that book. We always hope for an easy fix, one simple change that will erase the problem in a stroke. But few things work in life this way. Instead, success requires making 100 small steps go right, one after another, no slip-ups, no goofs, everyone pitching in. And then the last is from Mother Teresa. Let us touch the dying, the poor, the lonely, the unwanted. According to the graces we have received, let us not be ashamed or slow to do the humble work. So, congratulations, and God bless to the class of 26.
Hello, everyone. I'm a little bit short, so I'll just stand on my tiptoes. I am Samantha Johnston. I'm an instructor here at EMU. And when I agreed to be a part of the pinning ceremony, I did not realize that I would have to announce their names. So for the past week, I have been practicing pronunciations. For those of you who I end up saying it wrong, please forgive me. I am really trying. So, all right. Graduates, would you please stand up? All right, so we will get started with the class of 2026. Leah Beachy, penned by her mother, Alicia Beachy. Her mom is also a nursing graduate of EMU class of 1993. My degree is dedicated to the accumulation of 17 years of education, none of which would have been as rich or meaningful without the continual support of my mom and dad. As two highly dedicated, skilled, and caring medical professionals, they have demonstrated a life of service in the medical field and inspired me to seek fulfillment and purpose in the same manner. I owe all that to them. I aim to honor their legacies of excellence by pursuing my own. Leah will be working in the emergency department at Augusta Health. Madison Bowyer, penned by her grandma, Brenda Brandy. My degree is dedicated to everyone who has walked alongside me through my nursing school journey. Each experience has given to my growth as a future nurse. I am grateful and thankful for the opportunities that allowed me to serve others. Finally, I dedicate this degree to my future self, to the future nurse in me, to the woman who did it scared, who did it tired, and who chose to keep going even when she felt like she could not keep going. This is for you. Madison will be a nurse on the organ transplant floor at UVA. Odessa Alazi, penned by her mom, Sanfilia Alazi. My degree is dedicated to my family and friends. I would not have had the opportunities and experiences that shaped me without my parents' sacrifices as immigrants in this country. Their strength and resilience made this journey possible. I also would not have made it through nursing school without burning out if it weren't for the constant love, support, and laughter from my friends. This degree is not just mine. It belongs to everyone who stood by me, lifted me up, and believed in me along the way. Odessa will be working as a geriatric nurse at Bridgewater Retirement Community. Our next graduate will not be penned tonight, but we will honor her, or today, sorry, Abigail Foltz. Okay. My degree is dedicated to my mom and my family. My mom showed me what strength, compassion, and resilience truly look like, both as a nurse and as a patient. I also dedicate this to my family, who supported me through everything and helped me keep going even during the hardest times. This career is not just a job for me. It is a commitment to showing up, advocating, and doing what is right for every patient. Abby will be working on medical oncology at Centera RMH. Emily Gwen, penned by her mom, Heather Gwen. My degree is dedicated to my parents for their sacrifices, to my siblings as proof that our dreams are within reach, and to my boyfriend for his constant support throughout this journey. Emily will be working as an ED nurse at Fairfax Inova. Jacqueline Jackson, penned by her mom, Jackie Badger Jackson. My degree is dedicated to my mom for being a constant presence in supporting my dreams. Thank you for being someone I can rely on, for loving me through every stage of life, and for having enough patience to get me through all 4 years. I love you more than anything else. Megan Kiger, penned by her mom, Renee Johnston. My degree is dedicated to my family. Thank you for your constant love, support, and encouragement throughout this journey. Your belief in me gave me the strength to keep going, even on the hardest days. This achievement is as much yours as it is mine. Megan will be working as an RN at UVA Cancer Center. Raina Londa, penned by her mom, Jennifer Dodd. My degree is dedicated to my mom, who taught me the true meaning of strength and resilience. Your love and unwavering support have shaped who I am today, not only as a person, but as a future nurse. The compassion I give to others is a reflection of the care and sacrifices you've always given me. Raina will be an ED nurse at Virginia Commonwealth University Health System. Karis Lucas, penned by her boyfriend, Nick Johns. My degree is dedicated to my future patients who will trust me during some of their most vulnerable moments of their lives. To the families I will encounter, whose strength, love, and advocacy shape the healing journey. And to my future self as a registered nurse, may I never lose sight of compassion, humility, and purpose that led me to this profession. Above all, I dedicate this work to Jesus Christ, my Savior, whose calling placed nursing on my heart and whose strength makes this journey possible. I offer all that I do to him, praying that I continue to grow in knowledge while leading with empathy, integrity, and respect, always remembering that nursing is not only a skill, but a calling. Karis will be working on medical oncology at Centera RMH. Gabriella Sill, penned by her husband, Ryan Sill. My degree is dedicated to my sweet husband, Ryan, whose constant encouragement and unwavering support have made this journey possible. My son, Benjamin, who has taught me gentleness, joy, and unconditional love, and inspires the compassion I hope to carry into my nursing practice. And above all, to God, may all glory and honor be his for guiding my steps and giving me purpose in all that I do. Ella will be working in the ED at Augusta Health. Mary Ann Short, penned by her sister, Rose Short. My degree is dedicated to my grandma, who was an LPN. I admired her deeply for her humility, hard work, love for others, and strong faith. Although she is no longer alive, I hope to become a nurse that she would be proud of. Mary Ann will be working on the progressive care unit at Augusta Health. Elijah Spiker, penned by his brother, Isaac Spiker. My degree is dedicated to my future patients. I will listen to their voices, honor their life experiences, advocate for their needs, protect their dignity, and do my best to provide meaningful, compassionate care. In some of their most vulnerable moments, they will place their trust in me. I will carry that trust with humility as it guides my practice as a nurse. Elijah will be working at the Correctional Center at Middle River Jail. April Stafford, penned by her mom, Kara Stafford. My degree is dedicated to my grandmother, who was one of my biggest supporters in my journey to become a nurse. To my family for the unwavering support that have shown me through this journey. April will be working at the Progressive Care Unit at Augusta Health. Joshua Stuckey, penned by his mom, Janelle Stuckey. My degree is dedicated to Ruben and Orvalina Ruben, my host parents during my intercultural in Guatemala. They showed me what it means to be generous and to love without borders, which is something I hope to carry with me every day in my career as a nurse. Josh will be working in the ICU at Centera RMH. Emily Suarez Nunez, penned by her mom, Savannah Nunez. My degree is dedicated to my mom, my family, and future patients. Mom, you've been my anchor. This is for you, and for every first-generation American going through college and life, to every immigrant wanting better for themselves and their family, but most importantly for Jesus, everything I do for you. Christina Suslev, penned by her mom, Olga Suslev. My degree is dedicated to the patients I will take care of. May they feel safe, seen, and soothed by me. To my family and close friends, who I love more than just about anything else. To the good Lord, who has provided me peace in the storm and been ever faithful and good to me. To my emotional support boxing bag, who was there to bear the brunt of my frustrations. And finally to me, may I travel, volunteer, enjoy the life I have, and make the lives of others better. Christina will be an ED nurse at Centera RMH.
Welcome, everybody. My name is Dr. Laura Yoder. I'm the undergraduate program director, and it has been a true honor to serve as a professor and teacher for these students. They are inspiring people, and congratulations to you all. At this time, I invite you all, the graduates, to stand, and we're going to read together the nursing pledge that you may remember you read when you got your white coat at the beginning of the program. Can you read the words up there all right? You can see them? I'm going to stay facing this direction so that the words can come across the live stream and the recording, but I expect you to speak loudly and read it with me so that it's not just me. So let's read it together. As a nurse dedicated to providing the highest quality care and services, I solemnly pledge that I will consider the welfare of humanity and relief of suffering my primary concerns, act in a compassionate and trustworthy manner in all aspects of my care, apply my knowledge, experience, and skills to the best of my ability to assure optimal outcomes for my patients, exercise sound professional judgment while abiding by legal and ethical requirements, practice the lifelong obligation to improve my professional knowledge and competence, promote, advocate for, and strive to protect the health, safety, and rights of the patient, and carry out a personal philosophy of nursing grounded in EMU's Sacred Covenant model for nursing. With this pledge, I accept the duties and responsibilities that embody the nursing profession. I make this promise voluntarily with the full realization of the responsibility with which I am entrusted by the public. Congratulations. Let's give them an applause again.
Alrighty. As we come to the close of today's ceremony, I just want to take a quick moment to pause, because this is one of those moments that can pass quickly if we don't allow ourselves to truly take it in. For the past 2 years, we have worked towards this day, and now it's here, and it marks not only an ending, but the beginning of something far greater. As nurses, we are stepping into a profession built on trust. We will care for people in some of the most vulnerable, uncertain, and meaningful moments of their lives. We will be present in moments of fear, healing, grief, hope, and sometimes in heartbreak. And the way we show up in these moments will matter more than we may ever fully realize. That responsibility is both humbling and profound. What we've gained here goes far beyond clinical skills, care plans, or passing exams. We have learned perseverance. We have learned compassion. We have learned how to remain present when situations are difficult, emotional, or uncertain. And most importantly, we've learned that nursing is not defined only by what we know, but by who we choose to be when we are caring for others. At Eastern Mennonite University, the Sacred Covenant model serves as a foundational principle for our nursing program and truly shapes the way we understand the nurse-patient relationship. It reminds us that caring for others is more than just a clinical responsibility. It is a deeply human one. When people allow us into some of the hardest moments of their lives, they place enormous trust in us, and that trust deserves compassion, dignity, humility, and mercy. The Sacred Covenant is grounded in Scripture, specifically Micah chapter 6, verse 8, which states, "And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with God." These words have helped shape us into the kind of nurses that we are called to become and the kind of care that we are entrusted to provide. Because long after people forget the details of their hospital stay, they will remember how they were treated. They will remember who made them feel seen, heard, safe, and cared for. And that is the kind of nurse each of us now has the opportunity to become. So to my classmates, it has truly been an honor to walk beside you in this journey. I have so much adoration for each of you, for the resilience, the empathy, and the strength that each of you brings into this profession, and I could not be more proud of all that we have accomplished together. So congratulations to the class of 2026. We did it. So this concludes our pinning ceremony, but I do just want to invite you all after the conclusion to refreshments. Judy Hyatt, who is one of our wonderful faculty, made a whole lot of wonderful baked goods for us. We have cake, lemonade, and other refreshments in the campus center building, which our graduates can direct you to. It's right down the sidewalk. So we would love for you all to join us and celebrate. And one more thing, class of 2026, before you join families, please come to the stage for a group photo. But you all are dismissed. Thank you so much.